In every dictatorship, there are three types of people: true believers in the regime, dissidents who don't believe and fight against the regime, it's a very small group, and double thinkers. Double thinkers who don't believe into this regime but are afraid to speak. And critical moment of revolution is when double thinkers start moving in big masses to dissent. So in Iran, we had for many years ago a situation when the true believers became double thinkers. People, in one generation, in fact, there was this change. People who believed to Ayatollahs were very disappointed, and students and trade unions and women's organizations, they became double thinkers. They were still afraid to speak. And then the critical moment came in 2009 when double thinkers felt themselves safe enough to start crossing this line and become dissidents. That is the moment when the free world, the leaders of the free world, have to express all their sympathy, all their solidarity, all their support, without sending troops, but simply to make it clear, we are with you.
Tear down this wall.
Yeah, exactly. Tear down this wall, as said President Reagan, or when he said, Soviet Union is evil empire, and we are with those who are fighting it. That was great encouragement for us in Soviet Union. What happened was to the contrary. America made it very clear, we prefer engagement with the regime than changing of the regime. They said it loudly, just at the moment when millions were thinking to go to the barricades or not to go. So that was the lost moment. And who knows, all the history of Arab Spring could be different if people of Iran had got their freedom then. But many years after this, after all, some very difficult, problematic negotiations, America signs a very important deal with Iran without insisting that the Iranian leaders will change their rhetorics, will change their policy of support of terrorist organizations, and that's real retreat from the position of leadership of America in the free world.
Mr. Sharansky, 9 years in the Soviet Gulag, a very unpleasant place, to say the least. What kept you going during that time?
Well, I would say two things. First of all, I was a loyal Soviet citizen. In fact, I was a slave. When that regime was deciding for you what to say, what to read, what to write, how to vote, and so on. And then I became Jewish activist, and I became free person because I was deciding to do things that I really believed in. And I felt myself part of my history and of my people and of historical struggle. So in prison, I continued feeling how I'm in the center of the world struggle of good against evil, and that even in prison, I'm a free man. So, and very quickly I had to decide that my aim is not how to survive physically, because then KGB can win very quickly. But my aim is how to stay a free person in prison. Second thing, which was very important, to know that your people and your country, your wife, your friends, and all the free world are with you. They are fighting, and they will not abandon you, whatever will happen. And that's why when I heard in the Soviet newspaper, when you're not in a punishing cell, you can read Soviet newspaper Pravda. That's the only thing you can read. And I read there an article against President Reagan, condemning him, that he called Soviet Union evil empire. That was the greatest day for us in prison, because we knew that the free world cannot be deceived. If the leader of the free world calls Soviet Union by its real name, it means that they are not deceived, and that they continue their struggle together with us. That's what helped us to keep fighting.
Much more with Natan Sharansky after the break, including the great things happening in Israel and the challenges that still lie ahead. Stick around.